How's it going, guys? Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, all.
Hello. Tonight is going to be a pretty exciting race, I think. What is the flag set for our race tonight, TBG?
The f- the flag set, as I understand it, is we are going to be looking at a race seed, a race seed. Uh, uh,
Lost Worlds. Yeah, so
that's what I
this
was
is
looking for. The race.
uh, race flagged Lost World seed. And so Lost Worlds is a really interesting flag set because as you're going to see on our runners screens right now, they start off with the Melchior shop and they're going to buy some basic items here. There's kind of the same things you find in a race flag seed, just a basic kind of mid-range weapon for everybody, shelters, revives. The difference is you get access to a lot less shops in Lost World, so you really need to take advantage of that opportunity.
And Lucas, so depending upon the text that they start with.
Get some and get just a really good, easy check out of the way. Saying in chat, ethers aren't guaranteed. You are guaranteed to get revives only in that first shot. They're not guaranteed ethers at all. And sometimes this would be a really good team for Omen.
Standard girl power seed.
So you start with every time period except 600 and 1000 AD, but you don't get access to 600 or 1000. And so there's only 5 checks in the game. And so there's also 5 key items that are guaranteed to have. So that is the chrono trigger, the clone, the ruby knife, the dreamstone, and the pendant. So at the beginning of these seeds, we're going to see them checking shops, checking characters, and they may or may not go to Dactyl Nest and check the character there. That would be their 4th and final available character. But with a team this good, that may not be necessary.
Yeah, it looks like at this point all they're doing is checking shops, not actually doing any sort of key item checks at this point.
Yeah, they're now we're going to see Choco start to head down to his first check. And so we're going to head into this Guardian fight. And this is a pretty solid team for Guardian. They expect you to have fire at this part, and so they give it immunity to fire. Just don't expect you to have shadow magic, water magic.
Doesn't look like they have access to Antipode quite yet.
No, not quite. But this team should be able to make it through this fight pretty well,
I'm also seeing
especially
some
with
divergence.
triple kick.
Yeah, I'm seeing we have some divergence with Keesley already heading into prehistory.
Yeah, he's doing the Chrono Sanity kind of run through, grab the quick chest, and it could end up being a good advantage for him. I'm interested to see if he will go for Reptite Lair, and it looks like he's at least going to go there to grind, which is a pretty common strategy.
There's
And
a
it is a check that he could probably do pretty easily with the right techs.
there's also a chance that he might get lucky and get into the secret tunnels and get some pretty decent gear right off the bat.
Absolutely. And these are kind of the two go-to first dungeons in Lost Worlds. The reason being they're not terribly um, tech dependent. You don't necessarily need a particular element to beat them as long as you have a certain type of tech. And they're both pretty quick and get you a little bit of gear on the way. So we are going to see a couple grind fights here for Keesley. But I suspect he'll go ahead and finish the dungeon while he's here. Yeah, this is definitely Choco's favorite team, is Girl Power. Just access to really good dual techs for AoE and single target. It's really good for both go modes. So it's really easy to kind of just stand behind a team like this and not go looking for another team.
Yeah, I am a fan of girl power. The only issue being I'm always hoping and praying for the set of prism dresses, which almost never happens.
Absolutely. Now, one thing takes a little getting used to when you play Lost Worlds, and this is just a muscle memory thing, is when you go through this dungeon that Chaco's going through right now, your intuition or your muscle memory makes you want to go straight for the sealed door. But that won't be available because there's no pit. He doesn't have pendant, and even if he did, early pendant doesn't.
That's right. I almost forgot about that they don't have the pendant. That's usually the way you get into the future from vanilla rando seed.
Yeah, so a lot of people, it's just your natural pathing when you see these rooms to just run straight for it. The number of times I've absolutely ran to it and then gone, oh, wait, I don't even have it. And he was able to fight that off and head straight for the key item.
Yeah, I would have gone for the sealed door.
Now, Keesley is also doing a good strategy because this dungeon gives you some loot as well. It's right next to a free heal. There's a couple shops that he could access right after this without going too far out of the way. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next. If they're just going to switch back and forth, or if they're going to immediately go with more divergence. And we are about to solve that mystery right now on Choco's screen. What are we going to get? And we see a ruby knife. So he's definitely not going to do anything with that information right away until he has the other half. He doesn't have a choice to make like you do if you pull pendant. You can decide if you want to go and get all that extra gear because you are typically pretty gear starved in Lost Worlds. We see him immediately go to prehistory.
Uh, looks like he might be making the. Yeah, he's doing pretty much the same thing that Keesley did when he came to prehistory.
Yeah, it does look that way. And then he may just immediately go do Reptite Lair as well. Now, a couple other differences about Lost Worlds. You start with your characters at level 15 with 3 techs unlocked, and that means an early go mode is very doable, depending on your team and how you get with luck on gear drops. But you're pretty strong in Lost Worlds after you get some levels under your belt.
It also looked to me that it looks like you don't have to actually unlock magic to learn
Correct.
past your first
Yep.
three
You
techs.
don't need, there's no magic requirement because you also wouldn't be able to go to the end of time until, like I said, so far in the seed that it usually doesn't matter. That is once you get into Lavos' shell, you can go use the portal to go back to the end of time and go back to 600 and 1000, which is useful in very rare conditions, but usually those are seeds that are being uh, big jerks to you anyway. Not giving you ethers. Oh, and Choco goes straight for Son of Sun.
Yeah, that's not what I would have expected.
But that is uh, a very quick check, as long as it doesn't give you any trouble. And he found the correct target very quickly. This flare is going to hit pretty hard, though. Oh, but he did pull he pulled a red mail or a red vest.
Yeah, I found the red vest in prehistory in the forest.
Keesley was blaze kicking Nizbel. The only issue with that is that you lose the physical aspect of the move because his defense is still up with no electricity. That can be a really hard thing to remember when you're in the middle of this fight, because this fight can either feel like he reminds me of Masamune a lot, where if you get there and you're a little less prepared than you think you are, that Nizbel fight can be really tough. But if you go there and you know what you're doing and you know that you have the techs you need, it can be such a simple, easy fight. But he is no pushover.
Yeah, a lot of the trick with Nizbel is if you don't have any sort of electrical magic, your physical attacker is just going to be basically a healer, and that can be a huge detriment if you don't have like Antipode 3 or anything like that. But it looks like it wasn't a problem because Nizbel is done.
Absolutely. But Marl laying on the floor at the end of that battle is going to hurt a little bit. Because if you get an early go mode and one of your characters missed out on a level or two, that can be a huge difference at the end of the run.
Yeah,
What
especially
will
with
we see? Oh, the chrono trigger.
trigger. That's that could be
And a
some interesting
pendant from
divergence.
Son of Sun. That means Woe is or potentially required, or Gino. They're gonna have to choose between those two.
Oh,
Now,
that
will he charge up the pendant? And that's one of those decisions that different runners do different things. I know. I don't think Procky ever charges the pendant and goes for the gear, but it can pay off with some really nice gear. But it does cost a lot of time too. I think it costs, when I was timing it, like 8 to 10 minutes to charge up the pendant and go grab all the chests.
I can kind of see your point there, but but on the flip side of the coin, that could also be really beneficial depending upon what you find. Like, for example, the prism dresses.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that's what makes it such an interesting decision. Mountain of Woe is also incredibly well known for the gear it likes to drop. I love Mount Woe second or third, depending on my team. This team will do fine against the boss of Mountain of Woe. It'll just be interesting to see if he decides how many of the rubbles he decides to fight.
Yeah, they're a huge source of tech points, and if we're still waiting on, I think we're still waiting on Ice 2 for Antipode 2 and 3. So if, he farms the Rebels and gets Antipode 3, it's kind of sort of a free seat at that
Yeah.
point.
And almost every Lost World seed I do, where I go to WoW, I almost always get something that made it worth it out of one of the chests.
Yeah, but server tech I like to make in vanilla. It's just one of those, like, you have to go here because there is nothing else you can do.
See, I like WoW. I love Mount Woe. And that's like my favorite dungeon to do in a run. But that's just because it pays off so well. If you make sure you're prepared for it, both in like hit percentage, level, and AOE's for the boss, it can be really a nice dungeon to do early. And then it makes every check after it super easy. You can go right after Woe and like one shot Mother Brain.
Yeah, the one shot by the brain is always fun.
And we see Chaco heading to Nizbal now. So he's going to find the chrono trigger, and then he's going to be looking for the other half of Go mode.
You think he's gonna go Mount Woe, or you think he's gonna go Genodome?
I think he'll go Geno Dome after he finishes this.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind that would be the smart move, but we'll really see what happens once Keesley gets his key item from up here.
Well, it's for me. It's one of those things. Like I do Woe pretty early, and then I usually leave Geno for last because none of Geno's length is from like length of battles. I just the puzzles in it take a lot of time for me, and so I most of my routing for Lost Worlds is with the fact that I play Lost Worlds Plus in mind, and so I'm if I have to redo a dungeon a second time in the New Game Plus mode, then I don't want to do Geno twice. At
Y-
least if I have to do Woe twice, I can one shot everything the second time.
Yeah, and well, Bumper Bot is also a huge problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Silver Stud
Uh,
Moon Armor.
that would make Mount Woe worth it for me.
Yeah, and we still have a few more chests that are typically pretty good stuff. Oh, good point, Cecil. So, moon armor that no one can equip.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with the with the girl power seed is like, Nova armor, moon armor. It looks pretty, but they can't wear it.
Oh, there goes Nizbal on Chocosura's screen. So, if it turns out that Mountain Woe or Mount Woe is the clone, then Keesley would have a nice advantage going into Go mode.
Uh, he would, but again, I have to bring up the lack of ice too. So you're missing the Antipode, which is kind of your powerhouse through the Black Almond.
Yeah, but you would likely get that on the way from like Death's Peak. You could take a couple extra battles, and you'd get a good amount of tech points before you'd likely need it.
Yeah,
And also, this fire.
yeah. Keesley did check his tech, and Marley is on the way to learning haste. but not Ice 2 quite yet, so it could be a while before we see it.
Could be. Although if he gets that tech from like Giga Gaia and he gets the double tech point bonus, that could get him really close to having it. Yeah, that was a really
Uh,
clean woe so far that he's done.
so far, yeah. And we're checking the news shop, and he's apparently selling a Valkyrie. Not sure that I would buy it, but it's available.
So he went up to Zeo. Will he go to Mountain of Woe? Or will he go to Genodome from here?
That's a tough call. I guess he is in 12,000 BC, so it'd be quicker to get to Mount Woe. But depending upon how comfortable he is with either Mount Woe or Genodome, he might go back and do Geno.
I'm
I guess we'll.
surprised he didn't. He already went all the way to the news shop. He could have charged up the pendant for an extra minute or two and sweep through future for gear, which could make a huge difference, especially if it ends up being a Lalo seed for him. It does look like he's going to hit Woe up.
So the only two major items we don't know we were missing are going to be the Dreamstone and the clone, right?
Yeah, so this is going to lead to a go mode.
It's
For Choco, for sure. It may or may not for Keesley. And even if Keesley gets go mode right here, with Choco being right behind him with a bunch of XP over him right now, he could catch up very quickly in the Omen. This is a very close race, I think, right now.
and I think the deciding factor is going to be whether or not we end up with an Omen or a Ocean Palace.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the other thing that could happen is Keesley has not done Son of Sun. If this leads to go mode through Woe and Son of Sun, Keesley could get something that wouldn't be go mode now, and he could still choose to do Geno if he decided to do that. And so Chaco heading up the chain to Mount Woe as Keesley gets to one of the final encounters of the dungeon before a boss that he's going to be very well
Assuming
prepared
no one
for.
falls asleep on the job, he seems to be having a lot of that problem.
Well, those plants can be very annoying, uh, but you got to always remember that you can run from them as well. So I actually lost a seed because I didn't realize I could run from them, and they wiped me with confusion over the course of like 6 minutes. I was so
Yeah,
upset at
some of these
myself.
fights are just no pushovers. Like the gargoyles, they can knock you down 1 HP, and if you're in a bad spot, that could be a TPK.
Yeah, absolutely. The good news is that you can run from all of those encounters as well. So you typically want to just, unless you really need the XP to be able to, which you could go Rebels if you wanted a safer way to get the XP. You can run from every fight on the way up to the boss.
That is good to know.
But I think both of them are strong enough that they shouldn't have too much issue. This is one of the teams that I would feel pretty comfortable going Mount Woe second with, as long as I got the right techs on the way up. And then I would still grab a couple rebels probably, but I wouldn't take the gargoyle fights. They're too dangerous for the payoff. For in my
Two
opinion.
almost always going to do the continuous attack, which means that after the battle, you go in and heal up and make sure you're not going to die against the Bantam imps or whatever it is you went into.
Yeah, and I typically don't even worry about healing in between the fights, because you can run from them all. So unless you got incredibly unlucky, and then if I do get a little worried about an encounter my speed may not be high enough, I'll just throw a mid tonic on somebody just to be safe. Um, but you're typically pretty safe to go without healing. But that's something that you may or may not know if you don't do this dungeon often, or if you don't do this dungeon at a relatively low level. Like in a race flag siege, you would almost never be at woe at level 15.
That's just one of my neuroses. My things is I always almost always have to keep my characters in tip top shape all of the time.
Oh, fair enough. We are
We have Giga Guy.
finishing. Oh yeah, there's Giga Guy. I still love his design. I know he's a pushover and he's kind of a silly boss, but he has always stuck with me from when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I
I
would
al-
love like a big bead portrait of him or something. That would be awesome.
I always remember Giga Guy as my first chance to use triple text, which was the Chrono Frog Robo triple tech. I forget what it was.
All right, we're going into this Giga Gaia fight with plenty of damage. He's going to have these hands down in no time. Can go ahead and charm a few things off of Giga Gaia if he can. And every
Charm,
once in a while, that'll pay off.
we have seen it pay off once or twice, but I almost never use it myself.
I'll use it if there's nothing useful that Ayla can be doing, which is the case in some fights. Like, if I have to take Ayla in to Hecarim Cave with me, she's gonna be charming Hecarim until she's needed to start using ethers. Oh, triple raid is the triple tech.
That was what I thought it was, but for some reason I thought the triple raid was like the Chrono Marley Luca or the or the Chrono Luca Frog triple tech.
Yeah, I always forget which three are in which triple techs. I almost never use them. I like Final Kick. I've used that one a few times, but I think this is going to be the end of Giga Gaia in the next couple rounds here. He's done enough damage, Keesley has, where I would just keep gunning for the face and just hope that I finished it off. Because it can't have a whole lot of health left. And
That did it.
there it goes. And Choco going down and grabbing the extra chest as well. The extra chest down here. So let's see what we get from this. Ooh, and Keithley did learn haste from that battle, so he got double tech points on that. What will it be? Yeah, blue mail's going to be a great drop if it
Oh,
is this
oh,
go mode.
go mode for the Black Almond. Oh, I love life right
This
now.
is a fantastic team for Black Omen go mode.
I always loved the Black Almond. I mean, like, it's just an awesome dungeon. The music is awesome too.
I don't think Omen is a rough go mode myself for Lost Worlds. Like, I still I think everything combined in Black Omen is easier than Tyranno and Ocean Palace. More so, it's easier than Lavos at at level 22 or 23 with an early go mode. Like you can get levels on the way there, but Black Omen, as long as you've got some good single target available and some good AoEs available, you can stomp through almost everything in Black
Yeah,
Omen.
I prefer Black Almond to a fight with Lavos. Honestly, the fight with the Lavos to me just seems a bit like a slog. There's so much to do, and so much tech to know, and so many different ways to do it, and so many different ways you can get wrecked that it's just difficult and kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, well, Black Omen does such a good job of preparing you for its end game. And the other thing is with Zeal 2, like whether you fight Zeal 2 or Lavos, the big difference is Zeal 2 is completely predictable. You can predict everything she's going to do in what order. A player is to say, do you want something that you know, or do you want something that's going to be more random and hectic? And that's the Lavos fight.
Yeah, man, I've seen Koala run so many seeds, and almost every single time, Lavos has just wrecked him.
Yeah, well, some of that is I think a lot of people when they first get into jets, and I'm not talking about Koala specifically, but just in general things I've noticed with new players is a lot of things that worked in vanilla for people when they were kids or just in vanilla with level 55 characters are not going to work when you're level 35. A lot like left bit strats we kind of talk about in the Discord sometimes. Left bit strats are such a risky thing for new people, and if your team isn't perfectly designed to deal with left bit strats, it's incredibly risky and can cost you a run very
Yeah,
easily.
that's bit me more than once.
So heading up, Keesley is heading up into Death's Peak, another fantastic dungeon with some fun but simple skips and some fun movement.
I really like what they did with the randomizer death peak, where you only have the one Lavo spawn instead of the three.
Yeah, I definitely like that change. All right, and Chaco got his clone, and he is heading, and now we've got a very close race. Keithley nailing that first skip. Will he get the second one? No. That second one, I am not consistent at that skip. I need to practice it a lot more.
I consistently miss it.
Well, that's something. And then there's a third skip right here on Keesley's screen. And there's a couple different methods for that one. That's kind of an older strat, the stop in the middle. You can also kind of just do it all in one fluid movement if you run up next to that tree on the screen. Um, and really, once you do it a couple times, it's not difficult as long as you remember you need to do it. And I think we'll see that on Chaco's screen because I've seen he is incredibly good and efficient at Death's Peak and Black Omen. So this is going to be a very close
I
race
think
right
this is
here.
going to be kind of like almost a Super Metroid randomizer where it comes to movement and I forget the word right now. Uh,
Tactics.
uh, yeah, let's go with tactics. Execution. That's what I
Yeah,
was
well,
looking
they're
for.
execution, yeah, because they're gonna have access to the same exact things, same areas. Chaco did a couple extra dungeons, but their levels are actually very close. So I think Chaco is going to gain time in this dungeon in the first half of Omen, but we'll have to see how like look how quick Chaco just ran through those. He also does the older strat, which for a lot of people is just I mean it's consistent and a lot of people have it in their muscle memory at this point. If it works for those people, that's great.
Yeah,
Run.
Rester did make.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
Rester made a good point that there are a lot of forced encounters in the Omen. So a lot of it is going to again depend upon execution, on like if they have like antipode or if they're going to flare everything ever.
Yeah, that's true. I really think it's just the three-phase Lavos fight that makes Omen more attractive. Is the three-phase Lavos fight is more difficult than all of the Zeal fight and Lavos spawn at least combined. Maybe even one of the mutants. It's just there's not a whole lot that's likely to wipe you there.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I really don't like going to Lavos if
Look
I
how
can
close
possibly
this
help
is.
it.
I think Keesley was ahead by almost half a dungeon when Choco walked in this dungeon.
Yeah, Choco's execution on Mount Low or Death Peak, Death Mountain, whatever it is, has just been on point.
They're going to be in this battle at the same time. And I don't know if one of them has access to anything the other doesn't right now. And it looks like they've got plenty of HP for this fight, so I don't think this is going to cause them too much trouble here. I think they'll likely finish this fight up pretty close to each other, and then we'll have a very intense race through Omen. Although Chaco is scarily consistent at Black Omen. And I'm actually not familiar with Keesley's runs. So I haven't had the chance to watch any of his.
Yeah, the Black Almond is just going to be kind of a drag race at the end. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
The only thing that's going to be a little rush or a little rough is the fight to get into the Black Omen because these characters are pretty slow other than Ayla. And Ayla I don't think has anything that'll hit all of them.
Well, they finished their fight almost at the exact same time, so yeah, it's going to come down right to the wire.
Yeah, it is. I think Omen is definitely going to decide this race. And but I do think with this team, I think the chance of wiping at Zeal is not terribly high. So it's going to be execution through Omen.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ice 2 has not been learned yet.
it's probably going to be the very bottom of Marley's tech tree.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think it will be learned. It'll be learned probably before it's needed. I, yeah, wow, this is insanely close going into this end game.
Yeah,
The
this is going to be
same
one.
cutscene. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, this is going to be one for the ages for sure.
I love that our weekly races are almost always intense like this. we have a very well-rounded skill set community where it seems like no matter what type of race we throw together, we end up with a pretty good show.
Yeah, I haven't seen one disappoint me yet.
So have you done a Lost World scene?
Nope, I only watched one by Chocosura right before this
They're
race.
such a fun type of seed. If anyone in chat hasn't tried it, give it a shot just once. Just see what you think, because it's just a different set of barriers, pun intended. It's a little bit different routing, and they can be a lot of fun to play.
I don't want to say anything yet, but there's some trouble at the front of the Black Almond. Oh, well, there was.
Flair will get them through, but that was the small fear I had going into that.
And Choco did some shopping, which might not have been the worst plan, I don't think.
All right, Choco just trying to survive the turrets. Keesley getting out of the shield battle, heading further into the dungeon. Oh, and we did see a reset from Choco. That's what I was worried about with those. The outside of that Omen can really, with certain teams, it can really be a wall.
I can't count how many times I've been wiped by the turrets in the Genodome.
Did you see? Did she equip a speed belt before the fight? Because I know they pulled a couple. They
I
pulled a couple speed belts earlier in Mount Woe or um, Death's Peak,
uh
but he
I
made it through that time.
I didn't catch it. I think chat did though.
Okay. Yep, Angarel saying he thinks he's got it on. We're gonna see a lot of running. Both of them are at levels that they aren't gonna take any of these extra fights unless they know they're going to be efficient tech points for Ice 2.
Yeah, I always take usually at least one of every fight to see if they're dropping something good. Like the last seed I ran, the third eyes were dropping prism dresses.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had one. The eyeballs were dropping mega elixirs one game. That was pretty awesome. So I fought a couple of those, and then game, a Lost World seed recently, they were dropping haste helms, which was very helpful.
Yeah, it's worth it to take at least one of those fights. If they're dropping nothing, no harm, no foul. If they're dropping something good, fight a couple more.
All right, we have panels, and sometimes the panels, I've seen the panels drop incredible loot before. Speed tabs, and some other buff items that can be very helpful. I think Choco is going to be right on Keesley's tail.
Choco did also make the move of taking a shopping trip before he headed to the almond, so he might be better equipped than Keesley is.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to execution. Keesley's a good runner, but I don't know that anybody has the routing down the way Chaco does. I've seen him do bat skip a few times where it looked like normal movement.
Yeah, that's the thing that doesn't happen.
Both of these runners have done very good through the seed. It's gonna just all come down to how the rest of this goes. He did get past the mutants. So what else do we have to look forward to through the rest of Omen?
Well, we have the Mega and the Terra mutants. We have the Elder Lavos spawn. Oh, the new shop. Um, and some Tubsters.
Yeah, so the biggest things are going to be like, and everything you said is correct. The two mutant fights shouldn't be terribly difficult unless they get hit by something that messes up their plan, because they, as long as Luca doesn't get taken out in either of those fights, Flair's just going to get see them through both of those. Blaze Kick is going to see them through um, Elder Lavos spawn, and then we get to the Zeal Gauntlet, and it'll be very interesting to see if we see different strategies, if we see different decisions made through the rest of this.
Really, I think that the last real decision point is probably going to be the Elder Lavos spawn because the Zeal Gauntlet is not super difficult.
Yeah, the 3.0 changes did. Oh, there was a good drop on these. I didn't catch what it was, but Keesley going back in for that fight.
I'll keep an eye open on this one.
We'll have to see what that is dropping. Um, yeah. Oh, it
Speed
is speed
tabs.
tabs. So that's an interesting find, because this is a team that can benefit very highly from that.
I also want to point out that Chaco had a really good elevator and nailed all of those skips in that hallway.
Every one of those, and some of those don't look like they're skips, but they are absolutely skips. And he nailed each one of them, just looking like normal movement. Let's see what is in this shop. Elixirs. So he grabs a couple elixirs for the run.
Yeah, that's the shop where if I have any extra cash, I just burn it all on like elixirs or mega elixirs or whatever high end gear they might have.
All right, we get to Tubster. Not sure how all of the gear is on the characters. I know we've pulled some good helms and some good armor, but I don't know if we ended up with a whole team's worth of those things. But it looks like they're handling all the fights they've had so far. This is where the seed can start being more of a jerk if it wants to be. These mutant fights, if you have bad RNG or you make a mistake during those fights, it's not difficult for you to end up with a wipe.
I just saw Choco do a thing where he avoided all of those ruminators, running through them twice.
Yep, absolutely. It is very possible with practice. I've pulled it off a few times, but I've never seen anybody do it that smooth and that consistently.
Yeah, I get it every single time.
And then Dipwood pointing out, you'll notice Choco running against the side of the eyeballs. That's something that was noticed recently in our community, was that running against those eyeballs will make them, or seems to make them, close their eyes earlier. And so you will see that. I have for a long time just kind of ran for it, and every once in a while I get through, and if I don't, I run. It costs me 10 seconds. But if you sit for like 5 or 6 seconds to get the skip, and then you still get the encounter, you've lost time going for it. So I usually just run for it, but a lot of people have been getting consistent, or more consistent, at waiting and hoping. So
I am a little bit concerned about Keesley. He's fallen kind of a ways behind, and I'm wondering if he can make it up.
well, I think he's hoping. Um, so one thing to keep in mind in these races, you can't see what your opponent is doing. So if I was Keesley and I knew I had gotten both items for go mode in 2 checks, and then I ran into an encounter that was dropping speed tabs, I would probably grab the speed tabs because I would think I was ahead. I want to make sure that that continued. Unfortunately, when I had my last race against Cecil, I did that, and I did that longer than he did, and he made up all the time. So it would really need, those speed tabs would really have to pay off to make it worth it for the amount of time. But we do see a prism helm being picked up by Chaco
That'll
as
be the
well.
second prism helm that's been picked up in as many chests.
Oh, and a mega elixir. I once had an Omen Lost World seed. Oh, a haste helm for Chaco. That
Uh,
is very good drop.
yeah, they have their headwear set right now.
Yeah, they do. But I had an Omen one time, 5 rainbows in 5 chests in a row, right through this section that Keesley's walking through now.
And no chrono, I bet.
No, the chrono wasn't even available in the seed.
Isn't that how it always goes, though?
It feels that way. You see Chaco popping on. He had a couple more speed tabs in his belt, plopping them on Luca real quick. But now Keesley's going to be in a little bit of trouble, because assuming you're ahead and grinding for some items against somebody that is so good at the routing through this dungeon, it's a pretty big gamble. But he did get some extra speed tabs out of it, and that could end up letting him get some extra damage off through these fights. So we'll just have to see how these next few fights go.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to come down to the fights, and sometimes I hate having the commentator curse of my very first commentary, and yes, Ice 2 is at the very bottom of Marley's tech tree.
I don't think they'll have too much problem through this first mutant. So some of the 3.0 changes, that's what I started to talk about earlier when Haste Helm was drawn. So with the 3.0 changes, mutants can be a little bit more dangerous now, and Mammon Machine requires a little bit different strategy. Not majorly different, but you do have to be a little bit more careful about what you do through that fight. But that second mutant fight is a little bit more of a problem now with his status effects. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
yeah, I bet
Another haste tone.
I played a seed last night, and yeah, a lot of these fights that were free are suddenly not as free as they used to be.
Yeah, it really makes the dungeon a little bit more substantial, which I think was what Cecil was going for, and I think he nailed that aspect of it.
I wish he would do something about that stupid rat in the rafters. Like, can it just stay still this time, or what?
Hey, I every time I play that, I just I thank myself that I will never have to do it on a phone screen again, because that took me way too many tries on the Android version. Because I've made it a point to all ending every version that's ever come out for Chrono Trigger, and Android was the most annoying just because the D-pad movement on the touchscreen through the rat.
I still
It's-
hate that rat to this day. And I first played the game in 1994, and even now it's still trolling me.
Hopefully, the winner of the tournament gets the rat named after him in the next tournament. That's the only thing that would make sense. There goes Choco getting through the first mutant fight.
Yeah, and Keesley made up some decent time. He's fighting the mutant right now, so
Choco getting Fire Whirl, which is an incredibly nice tech now, has so many more uses than it used to. I use it for my for Lavos 3. I think it's a pretty consistent Lavos 3 strat. So I have a lot of love for that tech now.
I could see possibly using it for a lava seed if you're going with like left Brit strats. Otherwise, I hate to say it, I don't really use many techs with Ayla.
Well, so with Ayla or with Fire Whirl in particular, you can do damage to right bit before its defense is down because it ignores defenses. So you can be hitting middle bit and right bit both at the same time from the beginning of the fight and be getting damage off before the defense goes down.
I didn't know that,
Yeah, it's
actually.
something I found recently right before 3.0 came out, and it's something I've been using as often as I can because it's a fun strategy. I one time in testing, I pulled off a single cycle Lavos where he never got to resurrect his bits.
That's impressive, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was a fun scene, or it was a fun practice battle. But look how close these guys are. With really good elevator luck, this could be even closer. But we are going to see at least one encounter. Oh, Choco did miss Bat Skip though.
Yeah, I kind of really wasn't expecting that he would miss it. I mean, it is fairly easy to get, I hate to say.
Yeah, I actually uh, I learned that after I saw it done in a race, in a tournament race by Choco. That was the first time I had seen it a few months ago, and I immediately went out and tried to learn how to do it from Moon. But they are stomping through this area. And there is Ice 2 for Choco and Antipode 3.
There it is, and the Zeal Killer Antipode 2 as well.
Ingrel and Moon bringing up the Choco may have taken that fight intentionally for the XP or tech points,
Well, it did get him
and that
to,
did get him Antipode, or it made
yeah,
sure it got it before this mutant fight, so that's probably correct.
yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, because this next fight is the last fight that Antipode's going to be, or not the last fight. It's going to be the hardest fight that Antipode is useful for. You can use Antipode in some of the Zeal stuff, but for Zeal 3, it's not helpful.
Antipode 2 is, but Antipode 3 will probably get you killed.
Antipode 2's good, but it's not going to be as good as like Blaze Kick is going to be more consistent, quick damage.
That is a good point, and then just kind of
You
the
only have to wait for one slow character.
and
Compared to if
even
you do Antipode, you have to wait for 2 slow characters.
and if you have Marley doing her healing thing, she can always haste the slow character and hey
Absolutely.
presto.
I think these are going to be really like exciting fights. Like you're going to see excellent team composition for these fights. You're going to get to see very like well executed fights, very well optimized fights through the rest of this run.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Cecil on this one. I'm surprised they weren't using Antipode, but seems to be a moot point now.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Keesley does for that section.
I saw some sunshades drop.
And they are instantly getting equipped with Blackmail and Mermaid Cap. That is pretty optimal gear. Then Mermaid Cap. So with Mermaid Cap is going to cut water damage in half, so if Zeal 2 does hit you with Hexagon Mist, it's not going to hurt as bad. And then the Dark Mail absorbs her like laser basic attacks. You can also equip Blue Mails to heal from Hexagon Mist if it goes bad. And Dark Helms to kind of help with the other. That's like super optimal gear, but you're not always going to get that, of course.
I
I
don't
don't think defense is going to be a major problem.
I don't think so. And I mean, the amount of damage that they're dealing with what they have is. I don't think it's going to be a very long Zeal 2 fight at all.
No, I agree.
Oh, and
Now the new Mammon machine is no pushover. It does require a little bit more or a little bit different strategy. But I believe both of these runners are going to be familiar with that fight and not have too much trouble.
yeah.
But we'll have to see.
Also, in case you missed it, Chocosura is taking on the Lavos spawn. And
Well, he was.
yeah, and don't worry about Nadia. She just needed a nap. She's fine.
It is not difficult for that new mutant fight to cause trouble or to get out of hand. All it takes is them wiping the wrong character. Oh, and there we see the top taken out on Keesley's screen as well.
And they're at the
Bottom
bottom.
fades. So
Yeah,
he's going to be heading into that lava spawn fight now.
yeah. The 3-0 changes have made the Black Almond a lot less free. I would always go through it because it was just at the levels I was at, it was so easy. And now it's not super easy anymore.
See the sunshades going onto Luca for Keesley. And he is going to be heading up to that Elder Lava spawn fight. New equipment going on for Choco as he heads into the Zeal Gauntlet. And this, keep in mind, this is an hour and 4 minutes into this run. He's starting the Zeal Gauntlet. This is Lost World. This is going to be a very, very good Lost Worlds time.
Yeah, I never would have expected to see a Jets of Time seed be this fast.
I think the fastest race flag Lost World seed I have seen was like a 108. And this is going to be right behind that.
And I bet you it was Procky who got that time, wasn't it?
It was Procky.
Yeah, he made mention of that in chat, something along the lines of it's you know, faster than 105 or 108, I would be sad, something like that.
Yeah. But he knows that I'm going to take one of those records from him. Either Lost Worlds or Lost Worlds Plus, I'm going to take from him. I'm throwing the gauntlet down.
Them's fighting words, I think.
All right, heading into Mammon Machine.
Let's see how this one goes down.
Keesley working towards that Zeal Gauntlet. I think after this fight, he gets a save point, and then he enters into that Zeal Gauntlet. Now, this new Mammon Machine, at the beginning of the fight, it will take your magic attacks, and it will kind of hit you for how many times you've hit it or how much damage you've done to it. And it will unleash that energy, and it can do a lot of damage if you're not careful and if you're just spamming spells into it.
Yeah, that caught me off guard last time I played.
And now we head into Zeal 2, the final fight here.
I'll be honest, I do prefer to go into Zeal 2 with Magus in my party because the battle music is better.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, then you have to play Zeal 2 with Magus in your party.
Hey man, Dark Bomb solves problems.
He's going to be focusing on single target damage straight to the face of Queen Zeal with blaze kicks and probably getting both of them hasted. And then he'll switch to just keeping elixir, keeping magic available for both Ayla and Luca, and this should be a pretty quick fight.
Yeah, this is a pretty good strat, actually. I never actually used the Blaze Kick strat, so shame on me.
Yeah, Blaze Kick is incredible single target damage. I mean, that's hitting for 3.5k for each one. So 3 of those gets her to the point where she's going to skip the first Hexagon Mist.
Yeah, Hexagon Mist is a real race loser.
Yeah, And that's really what you're fighting against in this battle is ideally you get that 10k damage off before she uses that move. And if she as soon as she hits you with that halation right there, then you know you have made it where you needed to. You can continue hitting her and using a mega elixir as soon as the your magic points get stolen here. So there's that. So we're going to see the Mega Elixir, and then more of the same to finish off that phase. A terribly efficient fight. And Keesley heading into the next phase here. The Zeal 2 start. Right as Choco finishes Zeal
That's,
2 and gets a Comet Arrow for his
and
trouble.
that's all she wrote.
So that was like a 110 15 ish, so right in that area.
I assume that's a pretty good time.
That's a great Lost Worlds time. I think my PB is like a 127 or 128. Though I gotta grind that down sometime.
Yeah, I still have yet to run a Lost Worlds.
All right, I think we're gonna see a very similar strategy on Keesley's screen here.
Well, it worked pretty well for Choco. Can't see it not working out too terribly well for Keesley, and it looks like that's the plan, actually.
But 109.41 was the final time.
Not bad at all.
Hey Choco, how's it going? We're gonna try to get him in here to answer a couple questions.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
how's it going, Choco?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That was an incredible Lost World seed you just ran.
Yeah, man, great. GG.
Thanks.
What was your biggest concern in that? Were you concerned that he got go mode before you, or did you feel pretty confident?
Um, honestly, I was concerned about. Okay, so on a Lost World seed, I usually try to do Mount Wealth first to try to knock two birds with one stone, try to get some gear and get a key item. There's always that 1 out of 5 chance that there could be a pendant sitting up there. So I figure I've got Marl, I've got Luca with Fire 2 and Flare, and I found Ayla, so let me just knock out some quicker spots first and see what I can find.
Yeah, and you did a really what I would consider a pretty early Son of Sun too.
Yeah, as- once I found that red vest in prehistory, I said to myself, we can do Son of Sun with just 2 characters. I got a ruby vest and a red vest. If someone dies, that's fine. I can pick them up right at the end of the fight. And yeah, I got lucky with me hitting the light flame on the first shot too. That helped a lot.
Yeah, we were talking and singing your praises on Death's Peak. The
Hmm.
skips on Death's Peak, you nailed all of those, and then everyone was talking about how consistent you are at Black Omen. That was coming up in chat a lot because
Yeah,
you entered a little bit after Keesley on the Black Omen, but your execution through there really helped you catch up.
Ah, um, only only thing I kind of not made me upset, but kind of tilted me a little bit was that the laser guards fight at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of I don't know. I kind of just did that Hail Mary down until I didn't think it was going to do enough anyway. So that's why I had that reset there. Luca unfortunately got killed there too early before she could get her spell off.
Right before you went into that, I had said I would be a little worried about the speed on this team for these turrets, but then your second time in there, you nailed it.
Yeah, my Luca wasn't my fastest character. Then Ayla kept going first, which is kind of bad for those guys. Uh, um, I wasn't really worried about my speed problem overall. I did see that there were speed tabs on the fly clops, which I charmed a couple of those. I'm like, oh, okay, there's speed tabs on these guys. Let's try to get a few. Um, but yeah, I usually try to have a mage with the highest speed on those laser guards just to kill them before they can kill you. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, my
absolutely.
speed just wasn't the speed belt wasn't doing enough right there.
Yeah, and you're usually a little bit speed tab short in Lost Worlds because you
Yeah,
really only get access to one guaranteed one.
yeah. I think if I fought those news, maybe I would have got that. Nah, I don't think that would have helped me because at best, I think Luca and Ayla would have been tied for 13 speed, and then it's a 50-50 on who goes first. So I didn't want that either.
Sure. That was an incredible run. Thank you so much for joining us. TBG, did you have anything
Uh,
you were
um,
curious?
not really, actually. Just execution was on point, and it was a thing of beauty to watch.
Thank you. Who was the character on Dactyl Nest? I'm curious.
We don't know.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you were both pretty happy with that team, and I don't blame you. I don't know that I would have checked Dactyl either.
Yeah, once I saw the Ayla, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna roll with this team. I don't care who's on Dactyl Nest because chances are the character on Dactyl Nest is gonna help me more than what I already have. So I'm already running one of the better teams in the game anyway, so I don't need anybody else at that point.
Yeah, Girl Power is a pretty prolific group, and I personally like running it as well.
It is an amazing team. As long as you have some way to get past their little weakness, which is single target healing, but especially on Lost Worlds, you don't have a lot of items available. That's why I rather prefer doing Omen with that team than Ocean Palace. But
Were you hoping? So you were hoping for Black Omen over
I was definitely
Lavos Go mode?
yes,
That's how I am in Lost Worlds too.
yeah. Once I saw once I saw that I had not clone, Chrono Trigger and the Ruby Knife independent, I figured, okay, I'm going to Mount Woe. Hopefully, there's a clone up here because I did not want to do Ocean Palace. But I mean, if it was Dreamstone, then it would have been whatever. But thankfully, that clone was up there. Um, I also probably should have taken less fights up there. Really, I was just farming a couple of hyper ethers up there just in case
Yeah,
because
that was
the all girl team can be pretty. It uses a lot of MP when you have flare and triple kick, and you know.
well. Thank you for joining us for some follow up on that great run. I'm going to get Keesley in, and we're going to talk to him briefly. But congratulations on an incredible Lost World seed within a couple minutes of the fastest I've ever seen.
Thank you, thank you.
So I hope we can see some more of these out of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same here.
I love Lost Worlds. It's it's my favorite game mode now.
Yeah, that's where I'm
It,
at too.
it definitely my favorite game mode.
Well, thank you so much, Choco, and have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Yeah, yeah, man, take it easy.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah, I do want to mention that Keesley did finish with a time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, 44 seconds, which is also pretty swift, only about 3 minutes slower.
Sorry, I'm trying to get Keesley in here. There we go.
GG
Here I
Keesley.
am. Hello, guys.
Hello. How
Oh,
was that run? There we go.
It was crazy. I was very anxious, nervous. I
Hello.
I
How
didn't know if I
was
was
that
playing good
run?
or bad. It's intense.
Do you play a lot of Lost Worlds?
No, it was my third seed, I guess. I played two things last week, I
Do you
guess,
play a lot of
and
Lost Worlds?
then I decided to to run.
Wow,
oh,
that was an incredible time
yeah.
for for that.
How was the what was the difference of the
Wow,
time?
that was
I
an
didn't check.
incredible time
Uh,
for
like shy
for
of
that.
just wow, like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it
2 minutes,
was.
really?
I think Chaco got a
Like shy of
108.
just
Looking in
wow, like
chat, and I think you got
109.41.
109.41, and you got like a
Oh.
113, I believe.
113.44.
49, I think is what you
Nice.
said.
I was
But
kind
yeah,
of
that's
confused when an enemy dropped the speed tab.
yeah,
I
I
guess
saw
I
that.
spent a lot of time grinding that.
Yeah, and that can always be a gamble. I said earlier in my last race with Cecil, I think grinding speed tabs lost me the race. But you got really good
Y-
use out of them too.
Oh yeah. Yesterday I played normal seed, and it happened the same. On Black Omen, an enemy was dropping speed tap and made a difference for my seed. So I tried to repeat that, but it was too risky. And also, I guess I spent useless time going back to Zeal only to get that one speed tap and check new shop. Yes, I lost some time there.
Still an incredible time. Even for like Lost World seeds, that's still an incredible time to be
Oh,
under an hour and 20 minutes. So congratulations on
oh,
a fantastic run.
oh, for you too.
Yeah, man, it was quite the thing to watch
Oh,
for
it's
sure.
Oh, go ahead, Keesley.
indeed. I will watch the VOD. Thank you,
Oh
guys.
yeah,
Yeah, man, it was quite the thing
no
to watch for
problem. You
sure.
have a good night.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
You too.
Thank everybody for joining us
Yeah, take it
tonight
easy, man.
for I love seeing Lost Worlds runs and seeing the category get more love. If anyone is interested in learning Lost Worlds, do it. It's a great category. And there's a guide in the guides chat that will help you learn some of the routing, although there's a lot of freedom in your routing for Lost Worlds. So hopefully we see a few more people run some seeds and we'll go from there.
All right, well,
TBG,
yeah.
hopefully we can have you on comms again sometime.
Oh, here's hoping.
That was a lot of fun.
All right, well, yeah, it was. I mean, if you guys will have me back, I'll definitely come on back. Well, here's hoping.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. And
Yeah.
if you guys will have me back, I'll definitely have you back.